alone, I'm alright. It's okay.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Insider's Guide. Today, we're discussing the only ski area where you can get first tracks at 2 in the afternoon, Loveland. For those of you who are new, in this series, I share locals knowledge and tips with all of you to help you maximize your day skiing the fine resorts of Colorado. With that, let's begin an Insider's Guide to Ski Resorts, edition Loveland. Now, Loveland has two separate parts, the basin and the valley. Loveland Basin is the main part, having a vast majority of the acreage and all of the advanced and expert terrain. Loveland Valley is more of a dedicated learning center. It features the Bunny Hill served by Chair 7, here. The other lift is Chair 3, which serves a few nice groomed greens and blues. Sometimes, this Blue Run Twist is closed for racing. The Green Run Zigzag has some great views from its turns. Chair 3 has a mid-unload. You can use this mid-unload to lap the run Boomerang, which is one of the least traffic runs in Loveland Valley. As a whole, Loveland doesn't get busy at all, but especially the valley. There's not too much else to the valley, so we'll switch over to Loveland Basin. Most people who ski Loveland Basin. Basin and valley are connected by buses. There used to be a chairlift that connected the two, but it hasn't run since 2001. As such, it is a hassle to get between the two areas, so keep this in mind as we discuss the following. Loveland Basin has a very small parking lot as far as ski area parking lot goes. As such, it fills up extremely quickly. If it fills up, you'll have to park at the valley and ride the shuttle to get to the basin. To get a good parking spot, make sure you arrive before the lifts open. The parking lot is typically full by 10 to 30 minutes after the lifts open. Of course, that only applies to peak days, which are weekends and holidays. Normal weekdays are just fine. Also in the amenities department, the dining at Loveland can be tricky. The main spot for dining is the lodge at the base. Tables inside get taken quickly, so my best suggestion if you're going to buy lunch at Loveland would be to bring snacks and eat a late lunch at 1 or 1:30. There's also dining at the Ptarmigan's Roost Cafe at the top of the Ptarmigan lift. I've never eaten in Ptarmigan's Roost, but it is smaller than the lodge, so I can't imagine its situation dining-wise would be much better. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's start to talk about the mountain. As I said before, Loveland doesn't get busy at all. That was an understatement. I've been to Loveland on a Saturday powder day and tried to find a line. It was not very successful. Loveland is great because as convenient as it is right on I-70, it's not on the Epic, Icon, Mountain Collective, or Indy passes. Everyone drives right past it to go to other areas, leaving Loveland as empty as you'll ever find a Rocky Mountain ski area. The longest lines at the mountain are always at this high-speed quad out of the base, Chet's Dream. This line I speak of was a whopping 2 minutes. Of course, the lift lines are usually just non-existent, so because of that, crowds on runs are too. This, combined with the mellow portfolio of their lower elevation terrain, makes Loveland a terrific ski area for beginner and intermediate level skiers. Loveland's runs also tend to be shorter than those of other areas in the Rockies, which is typically better for learning skiers. Now, out of the base area, you'll have access to two lifts, Chet's Dream and Chair 2. Chet's Dream has a whole terrain pod it serves, which we'll discuss in just a second. Chair 2 is primarily used to access the mid-mountain trio of Chair 6, Ptarmigan, and Chair 4. If you hear me say mid-mountain lifts or lift trio, I am referring to these three. Aside from the mid-mountain lifts, Chair 2 really only serves one run, Tango Road. If you are a skier who would be lapping Chair 2 to Tango Road, I would highly recommend skiing at Loveland Valley instead. Fun fact, before 2015, Chair 2 had a mid-station, and then continued all the way up here to Ptarmigan's Roost. In 2015, the Ptarmigan chairlift was built here, and the Chair 2 was shortened to its current length, relegating it to a role entirely of egress from the base area. Now, for the most part, Chet's Dream is the only lift that really ever gets any semblance of a line at Loveland, and we've already discussed that said line barely even counts as a line. Loveland is not a ski area where you need to plan your day around avoiding crowds. With Chair 2's reduced role since Ptarmigan was built, it never has any lines. Going back to Chet's Dream, let's discuss some terrain. Coming off of Chet's Dream, if you go left, you'll find some steep mogul terrain. These 4 double blacks are the steepest. Rainbow and Over the Rainbow require a little bit of a hike or traverse back to the bottom of Chet's Dream. They drop you off pretty much in the parking lot. The 4 single black runs here are also all mogul runs, but they're less steep than the double blacks farther toward the boundary here. Between Cat's Meow and Nick's Knocks here is a glade called Cat's Nick's Trees. There are also 4 mogul blues in the Chet's pod. Upper Richards, here, is a short little mogul run, great for getting the ski legs warmed up first thing in the morning. Waterfall is also a short little blue mogul run, but it drops you onto either Nix Knox, which is one of the 2 longer mogul blues, or Cat's Meow, which is one of the single black mogul runs. Remember that Levelland runs are generally shorter than other ski areas in the Rockies, so take this analysis how you will. The 4th and final mogul blue in the Chet's pod is Acceleration, which brings you over to all the mid-mountain lifts here. Right next to the top of Chet Stream is the run Spillway. Spillway accesses Waterfall to Nix Knox, Richards Run here, and Mambo here. Spillway gets pretty icy, so if you're trying to get to Richards or Mambo, it's sometimes better to just stick to Catwalk. Catwalk, this green, is not actually all that flat. There are other places at Levelland that require much more pushing than Catwalk. Off of Catwalk are the Catwalk Trees, which is a small glade that will take you over to the trio of mid-mountain lifts. Lower Richards, the blue mentioned a couple of times now, is a nice groomed blue that brings you back to the base area. Mambo and Home Run are nice wide green groomers. Catwalk, Mambo, and Home Run make up Levelland's famous opening day run. Just below Acceleration over here is the blue run Tempest, which will bring you to the same place as Acceleration. Tempest is a nice groomer. It splits right here. Stay left to go to the lift trio, otherwise if you go right, you'll end up back at the base. If you do ever accidentally end up at the base and you're trying to get to any of these 3 lifts, just take lift 2 up and then ski to them. To go to Ptarmigan, exit right off of chair 2 and it'll be right there. To go to chair 4, do the same thing to go to Ptarmigan, but ski past it and it will be right there. Chair 6 gets a little bit more tricky. In this photo, this is chair 2 where you're coming from. And here is chair 6. You'll exit left off of chair 2, at which point you'll see what you're seeing on screen right now. There are 2 points at which you can access chair 6, here and here. Both are uphill, so I would recommend going to this one, because you can gather just enough speed in this little stretch to make it up the hill. If you miss it, you can ski back down to the bottom and take Chet Stream up to get to 6 from the other side. Well, that about wraps it up for part A. Go check out parts B and C right after this. Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave any questions down below. All my love, I'm out.